Well, hello, friends, neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down the Nook. It's Saturday, so I wanted to review, and I'm going to shoot a Scotch today. What I have with me is actually from Islay. This is Bruichladdich Islay Barley series, but this is not peated, so it's not a typical Islay expression. This series that Bruichladdich puts out is, vintage. It's by year, and it also is by specific farms on Islay. They put this together to try to demonstrate a bit of terroir influence on whiskey, which is somewhat controversial. Not what we're going to talk about today. This in my hand is Bruichladdich Islay Barley 2011. So most of my thoughts will be on that. But then for comparison, I've got some of the 2010 release here. And then my friend Andy just gave me a sample from his friend Jeremy of the 2009. So I'll do a bit of comparison, 2010, 2009. But main thoughts will be on this Islay Barley 2011. If you've got someone, you pour a little bit and we'll sip together. 3, 4. Thanks for staying with me through a bit of a longer opener for me. But I wanted to get enough quick information across so that if you were to come back, you'd know what we're going to talk about. This is the Islay Barley series from Bruichladdich. And as I said in the opener, and I don't know if I'll put all of the names here below, but you go on their websites and they'll tell you specifically the farms and what part of the island it's from. And what kind of impact that might have on the series. Now, this 2011 is a 6-year-old release, and they're all pretty young. And when I go online, it says that it's 75% ex-bourbon and 25% ex-European wine casks. It doesn't really specify the wine casks. All of Bruichladdich spirit is, released stronger. This is 50%, and it's natural. Like it's natural color and no chill filtration. So let's get into some whiskey here. That's enough starter. You can certainly search up their website and get a bit more information firsthand. So the 2011 Islay Barley series, nose and palate. It is youthful. It's lemon zest, grapefruit, but some sweetness, honeysuckle, vanilla. Yeah, actually, the sweetness brings a really sweet fruit for me, like a pear or a sweet stone fruit. So I started with a sour, a little bit of sour, that's that lemon, and then it kind of went into a little bit of more floral, more vanilla, and now it's kind of gone into some fruit, so some pear. So it's a bit of a journey on the nose, mostly fruit, mostly light, little bit grainy. But an interesting nose. Let's try it on the palate. Sláinte. I like the way Bruichladdich feels in the mouth. It coats well. It feels, it's not overly viscous, but it's full. The palate here has echoes of the nose. I've got echoes of sweetness. I've got some fruiting. I've got a little more pithy grapefruit. Definite grain forward for me, malty, cereal, graham cracker type notes. And then a little bit of spicing, partly from the alcohol, I think. Like, so with that graham cracker, you get a little bit of ginger, maybe that kind of thing, but not too spicy like cracked pepper or spicy like hot cinnamon. I don't mean it like that. I just mean kind of has a bit of spiced presence. Not a lot of oak. A little bit there. This is certainly distillate forward, and really for me plays into that lemon, grapefruit, vanilla, yet malty graham cracker. I was with a fellow who used this tasting note for a totally different whiskey, but sort of a lemon tart, and I would say like a little lemon tart custardy type thing. I think is pretty accurate in terms of the flavors that I'm getting. Always just my palate. This is good. It's tasty, but it is youthful. And I guess the fruiting is the X wine perhaps. But I don't get a ton or a big variety of fruit. It's there, it's present, but it doesn't get much off the floor in terms of cut orchard, cut apple, that kind of thing. I, I'll give this a score, and for me, it's good, it's interesting, but it's not great. And I wanted it to be great. I'll tell you why in a minute, but for a star rating, it's like 3 3/4, which is good. It's good. It's definitely a good Scotch as long as you're okay with youthful Scotches. So what I wanted to say there, but I like to try to keep my review a little bit focused on one thing before I just keep talking, and hopefully you stick around. This is Islay Barley 2010. I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that. I don't even know if my camera will pick that up. But this is the first one in the series that I actually purchased. And it's 7 years. It's a year older. It's different farms. And it mentions the specific European wine, the French wine casks that it uses. And I can list those below, or you can search them up online. And we'll see what I get today, nose and taste, and in contrast to the 2011. But this 2010, I'll just say in preference, so I might be biased, to be honest, is when I had this, I ran out to try to find a bottle. Couldn't find any on the shelf. I did find a 2011. So that's how I ended up with this bottle. 2010, nose and palate. Similar notes, but I'm going to add some nice confectionery or candied sugar in there. And a little bit of maybe white grape. Coming back here, this has more, grapefruit pith, a bit of souring to it. This is far sweeter, a little more floral. Is definitely sweeter for me in my nose. It just is sweeter fruits. Take all those fruits and just move them into that more sugared, maybe fruit cup, where you get that syruping going on. It's sweeter on the nose. Let's try it on the palate. Sancha. I find more structure in this one. I've definitely got more pear, as I said, white grape, peeled grape, just some good fruit. And then the similar spicing that comes with this could be the ABV. The 50% comes and kind of gives it a bit of a background. But a bit more baking spice, a little bit more oak, just a hair. Some of the very same things in terms of maltiness or cereal. Not as much graham cracker, but a little more cream of wheat. So for my palate, this 2010 is better than the 2011 by a fair amount. The 2011, and I've had it open for a while, like at least half a year, if not longer. Just seeing if coming back to it, I'd get a bit more, and I think I do like it a bit more than when I first tried it. But it stayed a little bit bitter, not poorly bitter. Just like I love grapefruit, but when I eat a grapefruit, it's not a sweet tangerine. It's not a sweet, mandarin orange. It's a different experience, and that's a little bit where this is playing for me. So I'm happy to give the 2010 4 stars. That's not what I found online when I went to Whisky Base. I think more people like the 2011 than the 2010. And I also, a friend of mine through YouTube, Eric, on the Malt Muser, just shot the 2011 against 2012 and had some pretty good things to say about the 2011. So, it's always good to see a variety of reviews to see maybe, do their tastes align a bit more closely to your taste. Normally, I'm not like a sweet whiskey fan, but the slight nicer sweetness of the 2010, and maybe, like I say, structure or balance, a little bit more oak or something to carry it. I'm liking the 2010 a bit more. So the last one here, I just got from Andy, and he got it from his friend Jeremy. This is the 2009. And what's interesting to me when I went on to Bruichladdich site about this is at one part on the website it says aged entirely in American oak. But then in the nosing descriptions, it talks about, there's that Oloroso nose that you can only get from cask from Jerez. Spain. So I found it interesting that on the website there seemed to be conflicting information. Both of these are mostly ex-bourbon with European wine casking. So this, I don't know. We're just going to go in. It is 6 years. It is a different crew of farms, but we'll know as we'll taste. We'll see what the 2009 is like. I've never had it. That is different. A little more toffee. Yeah, a little more muted fruits and muted sugars. So that is quite different. Much sweeter. It's funny. Now I'm carrying this note through. I'm like, oh, wait, there's a little bit of toffee in there too. This one has much brighter lemons or grapefruits, as I said. Yeah, this has almost a bit of anise or something in it. Like there's a savory, there's a little different spicing in here that's coming up first. But there's still some of the floral, some of the other notes. These are clearly of a house style. Let's try it on the palate. Sláinte. This is much spicier for me. I'm going to go as far as some peppering in here. And it's more savory. Little bit of tobacco, little bit of leather notes. Not a lot, but just now it's like the fruits are dried. Now it's a dried green apple and a it's now there's some sweetness is coming through. But my initial comparison is it's the most savory of these three. Well, that's pretty good. I'm gonna take a quick sip of the 2010 and 2011 and give you my final thoughts. Well, thanks for staying with me through a bit of a longer tasting. I didn't expect it to be that long. I'm going to stay with the 2010 is my favorite. The 2009 has a more savory, little more vanilla, caramel as well, which I know those are both sweeter tasting notes and sugary notes, but it has that type of flavor profile a little more. Whereas both of these have a little more fruiting, a little more light white, like pear type fruiting. Whereas this is a little darker, a little more savory. I'm staying with 2010 as my favorite, then possibly the 2009, and I'm going to end with the 2011 because it continues. And just for my palate, it's always just my thoughts, but it's got a little bit of bitter grapefruit that is good, but not my favorite. So I don't know if you've had these. If you have, why don't you share a little bit of your experience, 09, 2010, 2011, 2012, which has been your favorite through the series? And will you keep buying it? Has it been interesting? So just, share some thoughts and hope you guys are having a really good weekend and a great work week ahead.